that many of our brothers and sisters in Trinidad and Tobago do not and did not know of kings and queens and empires of Africa. Those who invaded and claimed to own Africa from the 13th, 14th, 15th century, they told us the story. But as the African proverb says, until this lion learns to write, the story of the hunt will be that of the hunter. Today, the story of the hunted can be told. African royalty visiting by direct communication from Ghana to the Caribbean, to Trinidad and Tobago. This history is long, it's painful, but it's also a story of resilience of a strong people. It was Trinidad and Tobago's sons who encouraged the thought on the backbone of Kwame Nkrumah to stand up to the British and impress upon himself, the people of Ghana and the British, that colonialism wasn't our permanent portion, that Ghanaian independence was possible, and that Ghanaian people could run a country. Trinidad and Tobago saw Ghanaian independence when the Gold Coast, as it was called by the colonial master, became Ghana. I was in primary school then, and I remember the excitement of reading the big posters, these famous colors. Gold Coast becomes Ghana. And Ghanaian independence, following up on the Indian independence, started a wave of change that eventually reached Trinidad and Tobago in 1962. And we have been in charge of these islands since then, and it took that long for the Majesty from Kumasi, the Ashanti people, many of whom have blood relatives in these islands. I must tell you, Your Majesty, on my first visit and my other visit to Ghana, there were moments when I lost my presence and felt that I was in Port of Spain, because the people walking on the streets looked so much like the people in Port of Spain that there were times when I had to remind myself that I was in Ghana. I trust that this is not going to be your last visit, and that you will come as often as you would like, and that we would have shortened the distance and lowered the barrier of the Atlantic Ocean, and that in our business, our culture, our diplomacy, that we will grow together from here on in. Africa, African people have come to the Caribbean to meet your brothers and sisters. Welcome home. We will share with you our steel pan music. And as the president probably would have told you, before I came to Ghana, he had been to Trinidad to a number of carnivals. I don't know if he came officially or unofficially, but he had been here about 2 or 3 times.
So he was here in 75.
Yes. So when he came here at his official visit, he was not a stranger. And I trust that as we build these links, that many of you will find a place in the scheme of things that we look forward to. And your young people and our young people will find their long-lost connections. And in today's world, that kind of relationship is valuable. In the area of international diplomacy, the Caribbean, of which Trinidad and Tobago is an integral part of CARICOM, we play a leadership role in CARICOM. In recent years, we have been relying more and more on a collaboration with the African components So now we have African, Caribbean, Pacific arrangement, and then we now have African, Caribbean arrangement. Barbados, Trinidad, Tobago, Jamaica, we have made special efforts to reach out to our people in Ghana, Nigeria, Uganda, Kenya, South Africa, and it makes us stronger in a hostile world. We support each other on international business in terms of getting people into position where decision making is. And Ghana is a great gateway for us all into Africa. We do not have at this time businesses with Burkina Faso and Mali and Togo. We had Cote d'Ivoire is a good cocoa producer. As you may know, the Trinidad and Tobago, the university which you will speak at on Thursday, became a university of the West Indies on a foundation of what used to be the Imperial College of Tropical Agriculture. It was a major research station for cocoa, and it's probably still the world's best cocoa research center with a gene pool that is still protected. And so therefore, there's this similarity. And our cocoa production here, it has fallen considerably by volume, but in terms of quality, Trinidad and Tobago produces the highest quality cocoa in the world, and it's used for blending other cocoa. So there's a lot that we can share in this whole business of the defense and protection of the cocoa business. And of course, you know, the university itself can benefit. You are bigger in size and maybe longer in some experience, but we are also, even though we're smaller in size, we do carry some valuable experience in matters of that nature. And we look forward to having our technical people alongside yours so that we can benefit from what has been our legacy here in Trinidad and Tobago. There's one other point that we raised, and that is a lot of people have benefited from the brutality that was meted out to African people in the Caribbean and in Africa by extracting people forcefully. And many of those people are still around, prospering to a great extent. We in the Caribbean have been saying to them, while we cannot undo at the individual level what you all have done at the national level and otherwise in your countries, because these were nations that went against individuals. They made laws that deprived African people of their rights and their humanity. They used their labor to create products that were sold at great profit. They built institutions and businesses which one can trace to the free labor and the sufferings that they meted out to the African people. And today we are saying to them, if they want to have a voice in this world as they do have, and to talk down to us about morality and ethics and so on, that they have a duty to provide some reparation to the children of the parents of the ancestors who they abused. Many of them pretend not to hear. Some make cursory statements of apologies. But we're not satisfied with that. And we keep saying to them that we need you to return some of the benefits that you're still reaping to those people who can use that benefit. And therefore, our call for reparation needs the voice of Africa in support, saying to them that while you in Africa, who were not part of the enslaved, you too have a demand to make on the colonial masters to ensure that they be made to understand that until they accept some responsibility for what they have done, that their place in history would never be clear. So as we make that call, in our case here to the British, it's also been made to the Portuguese and the Spanish and the French and the Belgians. We think that a loud call should come from Africa, deep inside of Africa, high up in Africa, that European powers have a responsibility to make some compensation and reparation. You know, interestingly enough, the only effective reparation that the Europeans were associated with was to take from the Haitian people reparation for the Haitian army having defeated the French army and took away their colony of Haiti. And up until recently, Haiti was paying every year to France hundreds of millions of dollars in reparation for a war that the French army lost in Haiti. As a result of that, Haiti has been left with its independence, but in perpetual poverty, where today Haiti is one of the worst locations for black people anywhere in the world, because their resources in the modern era have been used to pay reparation to the French. And they have been in turmoil ever since, never been able to settle down and build a country. And Africa's voice in condemnation of that is required. Even as I speak to you now, Haiti is in total disarray. And we are now, CARICOM leaders like myself, we have turned to Ghana, to Africa. President Kagame was here a couple of weeks ago. Kenya is offering to help. And we believe that the African countries should help with this Haitian problem, which is a diaspora away from Africa with a few million people who are in desperate need, if only of an African voice calling out to those who have created that problem. So in the scheme of international diplomacy, that's where we look to African voices.
When we get back, we touch on my heart.
So,
Let me say thank you for the invitation that you extended to me to come and visit and to be with my people.
so,
We have been received very well and been made to feel that we are home there. But we come with emotions, where during the 15th century, our people were brought out through no fault of theirs to these islands,
so,
and then subjugated to this type of inhuman treatment that we ourselves have not had answers to that.
so,
But then again, there was this emancipation that was declared that slavery and slave trade has been abolished. And then continuing from there, in 1881, my own grand-uncle's son was also brought here,
so,
Trinidad, Kofinti, who after the 1874 wars, the Ghanaian Twi War, he had been taken to England to be wizened, supposedly. And then we were primitive, and therefore he has to be taken out to be wizened, even though we lived in our own way, our own environment, and then we're happy with that.
so,
And then after that, he was brought to Trinidad. So history tells me that Ghana and Trinidad have always had a linkage from there. Because why Trinidad? They could have taken him to different islands, but they brought him to Trinidad. The excuse was that the weather was similar to Ghana at
so,
the time. And his brother, who was taken and died of tuberculosis in London, and therefore let's take him to Trinidad. So it was a message to us that Trinidad and Ghana are the same.
so,
And after that, we've had George Padmore and others all also. Like you said, having known Kwame Nkrumah from Lincoln University and all that, I haven't studied, and then helped him also with the Pan-Africanism to be able to lead Ghana into independence. From there on, we are here now.
so,
Your visit to Ghana in 2020 during the celebration of Ghana's independence was something that reminded us that we have some brothers also somewhere. That because you came to Kumasi, we hosted you in Kumasi, we had the opportunity. You felt not as a prime minister, but you felt like you were in your father's home at the palace. And that is how the relationship of Trinidad and Tobago with me in the kingdom was aroused for us to realize that no matter what, our citizens are also there. So when the invitation came for me to visit, COVID stopped it. But COVID has not been able to stop it because we are here today. And we're here to assure our brothers and sisters in Trinidad and Tobago that not only is the emancipation celebration that is bringing us here, but we have come to affirm the brotherliness, the sisterliness of the two countries, and also to see how best we can collaborate in relation to development, the South-South cooperation, to be able to see how best the two of us, this country and Ghana, can collaborate. I believe strongly that we have to have that collaboration. I know at your level, at the political level, you've signed some agreements, but I don't want that to be shoved into the shelf because that's what happens. But I come here not as a politician, but as the king of Ashanti, who has a blood relation with my people, and I seek their welfare on the welfare of Trinidad. So I'm here for us to look at various ways using this visit to also assure my people here that after emancipation, what next? What next? We cannot continue to go out and blame the people who enslaved us. They've given us the freedom. But I still feel that my people have problems here. So after emancipation, what next? I've come to assure them that, look, we still can do better for ourselves. We should make sure that the independence that we have, we would take the opportunity to develop ourselves in a way that it would enhance to the development of our destiny and our nature. So I'm here, Your Excellency, at your invitation. I'm here because I'm here to be with my people. I'm here also for us to collaborate to see how best we can mutually build our countries together. That is why I'm here. And I thank you very much for this invitation.
Particularly pleased.
Beneficial to us because of the South-South cooperation. You know, if we make it a deliberate policy to cooperate on the South-South relationship, that to me, instead of going to Europe, why don't we, those of us down here, also trade, because our economies are intertwined. And the collaboration in relation to education, for example, the Ghanaian University of Science and Technology, he is the vice chancellor, the chairman of the council there. We have various departments, agricultural department, and then we can collaborate with your university here. Exchange of students even would be something that we can do by bringing students from there and then bringing students also there, so that we can share ideas together and learn together and collaborate together. To me, that's the best way. Agriculture is the mainstay of any economy. Here you have petroleum and all that, but I don't think that's the economy. Ghana, the same thing. Agriculture is the mainstay, and those are areas that we need to be very serious about and collaborate in terms of how we can produce more food. And then also, if you have food, and then you can export, and then you do the processing. That's what your economy stands for. Your cocoa and my cocoa, I believe strongly that we have to test it to see which one is the best quality. But my cocoa might beat Trinidadian cocoa, but yours also will beat. But I'll test it to see. But that is an area that we can collaborate very, very well, because cocoa is also the mainstay of Ghana's economy. And therefore, if we look at the research and then we can collaborate with this university in relation to research into cocoa production, and it will inure to the benefit of our countries together. And all that. So, Your Excellency, I look forward after this visit for us to have a team together to move forward and then have collaborate on these, and so that we can have a technical report in relation to the way forward that we both of us are going to work on.
And really Africa in tomorrow. I don't want to to adorn you with a stove. Made of painted. I'll put it in a handshake. Yeah, this as a permanent memento for 2 folk to Trinidad and Tobago. This is the keys in marble, and you know it's still a mansion, and it shows 2 folk in full grandeur and glamour, rather in a palanquin as a mark of its omnipotence and high authority and influence. And it's encased in a box with a 2 folk symbol with a chenche as the coat of arms of the Ashanti nation. King Akan. So I think we can eat that as well.
The family hon shia na America
Sabe ka ya twa ni mu nyame nai ebu afa so enye de ya twa ni mu twa nyame
se bedi akone be kwen bodi atwede na se kofi nro ni ya aben ntime nyina ni mu ampata na wo yade ya